For maximum picture quality, it may be necessary to adjust the tracking control on your VCR.
So the starting lineup is out on the ice now for the Soviets. Petrov will go to center. Harlamov, who had that great goal in New York on Sunday night, number 17, is over on the left wing. Mikhailov, number 7, he's the captain on right wing for the Soviets. Gusev on defense, and the other defenseman will be Vasiliev. There you see Petrov. Now for the Canadiens, Lafleur at center. Gainey on the left wing, Wilson on the right side. Savard and Lapointe on defense, and it goes to the Canadiens. Savard clearing it ahead to Gainey, and he ran into Vasiliev and went down. Puck is into the Soviet zone. Vasiliev cleared it up on the left wing. Harlamov passes it, and it's off the stick of Savard. Harlamov coming in. Mikhailov takes his shot, and he's wide with it along the ice. Now Gainey with Wilson. Right in a goal. He takes the shot, the rebound to Lafleur. And Tretiak was there to make the save. Now Wilson is bumping there along the boards with Mikhailov. And let's see.
Canadiens getting a penalty. John, right off the bat, we saw two things that we saw in New York the other night. A good check by Vasiliev and one of those long Soviet passes which preceded the breakaway by Murray Wilson.
Well, Mikhailov moved in close and a shot on Dryden, but that was a great check by Vasiliev right at the blue line, right to start the game. Now here's Mikhailov. He places out a stick, and Murray Wilson ends up with a penalty.
Trop élevé à 38 secondes. Canadiens penalty number 17, Murray Wilson, 2 minutes for high sticking at 38 seconds.
38 seconds, the time of the high sticking penalty against Wilson of Montreal. Petrov at center, Mikhailov on the right wing, Harlamov over there too, he remains out, Vasiliev and Gusev. So in effect there is no change for the Soviets on the power play. For Montreal, Gainey, Jarvis, Savard, and Lapointe. No score. We have just started here. We're in the first minute of play. Now Lapointe gets it over to Gainey. Gainey back into his zone to Savard. He takes a look, clears it ahead off Jarvis. Vasiliev back in his zone to Harlamov. Harlamov starting out over the line with Petrov. Petrov has it at the line, playing it back. And the Soviets are stymied the first time they put their power play into operation. Now Gusev up on the left side. Mikhailov over the line, a great move. He's knocked to the ice. Here's Petrov trying to clear it in front. He's knocked down. Now the puck goes to Lapointe. Lapointe slaps it off the boards, and the Soviets back into their own zone. Shlukov comes off the Soviet bench. Vikulov is out there too. Now Alexandrov is on the ice, and he cleared it into the Canadian zone. There's Savard with it to the point, and it gets by Sibiliev. Now on the left side, Lemaire cleared it down the ice. Vasiliev from in front of his net. Shlukov missed it. Now it goes to Robinson. He ran into Roberts. Lemaire has it, and it's fouled on the outside. 31 seconds left in the penalty.
Canadiens doing all right, John. They had said before, while they didn't want to draw any penalties, they had to block up the middle, and that's what they did inside their own line, at least up to now, anyway.
Well, they didn't. They kept control of the puck, too, with Gainey throwing it back to Savard. And Savard's pretty wise when he's killing a penalty, and 31 seconds left in the penalty.
Shlukov, Vikulov, and Alexandrov up front. Zagankov is on defense with Luchenko, who has the puck. Ahead it goes into the center ice area to Vikulov, to Alexandria. He passed it back, and it's broken up by Roberts. Roberts shooting it down the ice, and now we have exactly 7 seconds left in the penalty to Wilson. Now the Soviets again. Schlupkopf has it on the right side. He goes one way, the puck the other, and the Canadiens again shoot it down the ice. And it is icing against Montreal.
Back at the Soviet bench, you have three coaches. That's one of the assistants, Vyenyan Alexandrov, who for many years was a star player for the Soviet national team.
Soviets, everybody up for the face-off. Solodukin is at center. Maltsev and Popov are the wings. Kornwaye, Mahavlich, and Shutt. Volchenkov on defense, cleared it away from Shutt out to center. Now Ori to Robinson. He cleared it through center. It's gobbled up by Kuzkin. He hits Shutt. Shutt with Kornwaye, Mahavlich. Shutt shoots. Goal!
Took advantage of something you don't see too often, I would imagine. The Russians coughing up the puck.
Here's the replay. Watch Steve Shutt release this puck. Just a great shot right in the top corner, and Tretiak was partially screened. Just a super shot. Here it is in the replay again.
I'm wondering if Tretiak might have been looking for him to shoot to the long side, to the stick side. He caught the short side up high. Tremendous emotion in the Forum, and at 3:16, there you have it, Steve Shutt scores. So it's 1-0. But 1-0 lead sometimes don't mean very much. The Rangers found that out.
Well, the Rangers took that penalty and let the Soviets back in the game in New York.
Number 22, Steve Shutt. Assist to number 20, Pete Mahavlich, at 3 minutes, 16 seconds.
So at 3:16, it's Shutt from Mahavlich. Tretiak's a busy goaltender. He played all but 4 of his team's games in the part of the schedule they completed prior to this trip. There is the head coach, Konstantin Loktev, and there is the other assistant coach, Anatoly Firzov.
So a booming blast from the stick of Steve Shutt, and Montreal leading the Soviets 1-0. It is Petrov at center against Lemaire. Gainey has it, clearing it in. Tretiak gives it to Gusev. Lemaire after Gusev, the big, tall, husky Soviet defenseman, feeds it ahead. Harlamov digging in there, fires a wrist shot, and he's wide with it. He's a tremendously exciting player, number 17, Harlamov. Vasiliev playing it out. Mikhailov gets it over to Harlamov. He left it there, and it's swept away by Lemaire. Petrov back at the line, losing it to Lafleur. Lafleur trying to center it, going after it again. Here's Lafleur, the pass too high. Lemaire rolled it in front of the net, and Gusev cleared it up. Harlamov bumped by Gainey. Here's Lapointe centering it right in front of the net, and it was grabbed up by Petrov. And the Soviets are having difficulty getting out. Vasiliev cleared it to center. Now Petrov turning back at his own line over on this wing. Harlamov missed it. Gainey knifed it in over the line. There's Lafleur going to the corner. He centered it. And there to get it is Gusev. Savard stopping it. The point rolling it ahead to Gainey. He hops in over the line. Here's Gainey with Lafleur right in front of the net. Lafleur trying to get the shot away. And a penalty coming up. Penalty coming up.
Siliev has received the penalty for hooking. Here was the aftermath of the play when he was sent off. That puck just lay agonizingly clear for a moment, but the Canadiens didn't have anybody around. Watch Doug Rice, I don't know if we're going to follow it through as he falls and sweeps his stick around as he did trying to get the puck into the net.
Dick, what I've noticed about the Soviets, they've slipped the extra forward up near the blue line for a quick breakaway pass, so they've been trying to get that puck up to that forward.
Luchenko from the face-off, shooting it down into the Canadian zone. Montreal leading the Soviets 1-0 with just 4:58 having been played. There's Kornwaye in a full flight of steam down in behind the net. He's trying to center it. Peter Mahavlich goes in there to help. Here's Kornwaye getting ready in front. Knocked off a stick. Van Boxmeer winds up for the shot. And that changed direction and went off the boards behind the net. The Gankov clearing it out. Now it's shot, tied up. Peter Mahovlich comes in there to assist. Mahovlich clearing it on the left side to LaPointe in over the Soviet line. A weak shot. The Gamecocks checking with LaPointe, and it was cleared from in front of the net. Schluchthoff ahead, it goes to Vikulov, over to Schluchthoff. He tried to get it back in front, and it was stopped by LaPointe. Here come the Canadiens. Cournoyer faking the shot, and it's stopped by Sagankov. Schluchthoff taking it over on the far side at center, laying it back into his own zone. Luchenko turning. Now there are 37 seconds left in the penalty. The Soviets, they have that fine defensive pattern going. Mikhailov now has it. Risebrough's on the ice. Volchenkov comes to center, knocked off his stick, and Savard takes over at the Montreal line. Ahead to Lambert. Risebrough couldn't pick it up. That's Petrov for the Soviets. Dumping it back in. Volchenkov. Mikhailov made it to the boards. Now it's in over the line. And Petrov is in there with only 3 seconds now left in the penalty. Mikhailov coming out over the line. Vasiliev is back on the ice. Good moves there by Mikhailov. And he got it over on the side to Petrov. He cleared it ahead. Savard for Montreal. Over to Robinson. He chopped it to center. Gusev couldn't clear it out. In there goes Harmelov. Here's Trombley getting right in front of it. Trombley has a shot. And it's blocked by Tretiak. Outstanding work there by Trombley of Montreal. Savard broke up Petrov. Lambert over to Risebrough. He shoots at the rebound in front of the net. They score! Lambert!
Tremendous work by the whole line. Starting really when Trombley came close, but it was a tremendous job of work, Fergie.
Well, when Risebrough shot, Tretiak made the first save, and persistence paid off, and Lambert backhands it between his legs.
Better look at it here, I think. Better angle, right here from in front of the net. Sit down, please. There, thank you.
There it is, through his legs, and Lambert gives them a 2-0 lead.
The Soviets have not had a shot on Dryden. The Canadiens have outshot them 7-0 to this point in the hockey game.
They're playing a fired-up hockey club here in the Montreal Canadiens. There's no doubt about it.
Close-up look at Tretiak, John, right here, and you see Lambert, number 11, with the backhand, and as John pointed out, persistence, he fought off the check and scored.
Assist to number 8, Doug Risebrough, and number 18, Serge Savard, at 7 minutes and 25 seconds.
7 minutes and 25 seconds, the time of the second Montreal goal. Popov clearing it back to the line. Jarvis coming down on the left side, and Kuzkin broke him up. Here's Savard into the center ice area with Roberts and Wilson. Savard lugging the puck on the backhand, and he fired it around the net. Canadiens Wilson trying to keep it in. Kuzkin missed it. Volchenkov takes it in behind the net, trying to shake off Wilson. Gets it over the stick of Popov, and it's Savard with it. Here's Savard, shaking off Popov. Savard into the center ice area to Wilson. And Kuzkin cleared it back to the line. The Canadiens feed it in. Now at the line. Here's Jarvis going in. He shoots it. And Tretiak got in front of it. Volchenkov clears it down the ice. Icing against the Soviets.
Here you see these shots on goal. The Canadiens have now had 8. The Soviets have not had 1. In the face-off department, it's 6-1 in favor of Montreal.
From the face-off. It's cleared down the ice. The Gamecock shooting it down. Shot got away from Vikulov. Cleared it for Cournoyer. Breaking in on the right side. And Luchenko swept it off to the wing. Now here's Robinson winding up for the shot. He struck it from the net. And Cournoyer fired it. He fired it wide. Cournoyer with a backhand shot. And it went off the stick over the glass.
Great chance for Cournoyer. Pretty good play by Luchenko in the first instance because Cournoyer had him beaten. prior to this, moving in. Back of the net, look at it. And as we're watching it, the Soviet linesman fell down. Here's another look at it with Robinson firing it from well out. There's that chance for Cornway. Oh, wide open side.
Mahovlich going in along the boards against the Gankov. Cornway passed it back off the boards to Don Ory. There's his shot to the short side. Cornway digging at it behind the net. Against Urchenko, Cornway prevails to Peter Mahovlich. Now the Soviets breaking out over the line. Alexandrov down on the right side. He's upended. Canadians take over. And it is shot, clearing it down the ice. Luchenko going back for the Soviets. The Canadians are called for icing.
John, I would have to think that the Soviets are a little perturbed. They looked at the shots on goal and see it now 9-0. Don Ory hasn't scored a goal all season in the NHL, came close, and then made a good defensive play here.
Here's Boris Alexandrov, and of course Donnie's a real defensive defenseman. Gets that puck up, and they haven't had a shot yet, is right, Dick.
Gusev getting it over. Vasiliev knocked it to the corner. Lapointe gets it out on the left side. Lemaire with the first. Lemaire going in, shoots, and a hot shot is juggled by Tretiak. Here come the Soviets. Petrov to Harlamov. He's over the line. Here's Harlamov trying to work in there. There's the shot, the rebound. Mikhailov took the shot, tried to center it off Savard's stick. Mikhailov clearing it to the left side. And it's Lafleur in possession for Montreal. Gives it to Lemaire, who dumps it delicately into the Soviet zone. Now Vasiliev feeding it ahead. Petrov couldn't get it. And Lapointe with 9 minutes and 46 seconds left in the first period. Lapointe goes up on the left wing. Vasiliev to Mikhailov. He's down on the right side over the line. Harlamov stops. Harlamov to the Harlamov. To the side of the net. He took that shot and couldn't get it on the target. That was nice passing there by that Russian line. Mikhailov, Harlamov, and Petrov. Mikhailov back in on the right side. Petrov working his way in, trying to slide it in front. There's Gusev winding up for a shot, and it went off Savard. It's centered in front of the net, and Lapointe clears it. Jarvis getting it out over the line. Soviets showing their best offensive pressure of the hockey game to this point. Montreal leading 2-0. Solidukin is on the ice now behind the net. They try to center it. Mikhailov had his centering pass blocked. Lapointe rolled it into the center ice area. Vasiliev had his pass get by Savard into the Canadian zone. Lapointe gets it for Robinson, and it goes down the ice. And the checking, something you don't see too often in games of this nature, the checking a bit close. Volchenkov and Wilson went sprawling on the ice. Now Jarvis coming in over the line. Here's Jarvis working to the corner. He's getting set for a pass. It hit Vasiliev. There's Roberts with it. Over for Wilson, and he couldn't pick it up. Vasiliev cleared it to the other side. Here's Popov out on the right side. Maltsev is across the line, getting into the slot. He fired it, and it was low and wide. Wilson starting out down on the left side. Pushkin is back there for the Soviets. Canadians are changing while the play goes on. Solidukin dropping it neatly back to Maltsev. Good stick handling by Maltsev. Coming up with Solidukin. And Robinson cleared it out over the line. Puck was bouncing crazily. Solidukin ahead for Popov. And the Canadians very strong at their own blue line with the forwards coming back, as you see there, with Risebrow coming back. Solidukin was bumped by Ory. 7 minutes and 18 seconds left in this, the first period. Montreal leading 2-0. The Soviets. Solidukin clearing it right back into the Canadian zone. Shluptov, number 22, is now on the ice with Alexandrov. Lambert going in, broken up. The Gankov clearing it to the Canadians line. Ory finally got it over to Risebrow. Risebrow to Don Ori. Ori at center on the left wing. Shoots it in there. Tremblay is bumped along the boards by Volchenko. He and Volchenko fight for it. Pass to Mahovlich. And he had that one go off the heel of his stick. The Gankov in on the boards against Tremblay. Are they going to get a whistle? Yes, they do in the face-off in the Soviet zone. Scotty Bowman coming through the clock and through your television set. He's got to be happy at this stage. 2-0. Cornway shooting it right on. And Tretiak got that pad out there to make the save. Here's Schluchthoff over the line, and he fired it. He didn't miss by much on that far side. Peter Mahovlich against Alexandrov. Vikulov is the other forward for the Soviets. Lapointe tried to set up his man shut, and it's down the ice. And Luchenko touches it, icing against Montreal.
Last couple of minutes, John, last few minutes, really. The Canadiens, I think, could have been a little bit better inside their own line from the standpoint of handling the puck. They're covering the man well.
That's true, Dick. I haven't seen the Canadiens defensemen handle a puck as much as they have tonight in the form this year. And we've been using, that's our fifth defenseman out there now, John Van Boxmeer. And in 1972, we went with 6 defensemen. If they can wear you down.
Soviets with the defense of Gankov. Laying up along with Luchenko. Here's shot he has scored in this game tonight. He's belted at the line by Luchenko. Now Vikulov into the center ice area, hitting the Montreal line, trying to get by Bouchard. And Mahovlich cleared it to the line. It's brought in by Sagankov, and that's offside. 5:39 left in this first period. 2-0 as we look at Tretiak. He has given up the 2 goals.
And a look at some of the youngsters, really, on that Soviet bench. Number 15, Solodukov, 25 years of age. And that's number 10, Viktor Kukirgin. Came over early to play with the Moscow Selects in their tour of Canada a couple of weeks ago.
On the face-off. It goes over toward Petrov. He tried to clear it in front, intercepted by Sabert. It goes high, and a stick making contact while that stick was above the shoulder in the opinion of the official, and that calls back the play. So they'll face off outside the line. Lafleur to Lapointe. Lapointe slapping it off the boards, racing after it out to the left side to Lemaire. He cleared it into the Soviet zone. Gusev in there against Lafleur. Gusev from the corner. Montreal leading 2-0. A pass. Harlamov has it on the right side. He's over the line. Takes the shot. A quick wrist shot. And Dryden had to kick it out very neatly. That wrist shot is very dangerous. Now Petrov coming back in. Tried to set up Harlamov, and Savard broke it up. Vasiliev back at the Soviets line. Now Petrov going after it. Swings the pass up to Gusev. Gusev closing in for the shot. And it goes off Savard over the glass. Savard seems to be everywhere when he's out there. A degree of quietude has settled on the form as we look at Harry Sinden. The crowd was in a frenzy for the first 8 or 10 minutes and exploded tremendously when the Canadiens got the goals, but it's been rather quiet of late.
Well, they've got Scotty outnumbered back of the bench. 3 coaches plus an interpreter. And they tried to get that extra line change out there, but referee Harris ruled it off.
Schluchthoff, number 22, is at center. Alexandrov on one wing, Vikulov on the other for the Soviets. For the Canadiens, Lambert, Risebrown, Tremblay. Luchenko cleared it out over the line. Don Ori feeding it back in. Zagankov in behind the net, being watched by Risebrown. Takes it, Risebrown coming in, a pass to Lambert. He shoots it right off. And Tretiak had to make a good save. Here's Tremblay taking a shot. And he blasted one wide to the far side. And it went over the glass. So, Canadiens line of Tremblay, Risebrown, Lambert, very alert in the Soviet zone.
Mario Tremblay playing well. I'm not so sure, John, that last shot Lambert wasn't stopped by Tremblay with his stick in front of the net.
No, he just missed the corner in that last slap shot. He's worked very hard tonight, Mario Tremblay.
Played the best 15 minutes of hockey I think I've seen him play in a long time. He's the youngest player on the ice. He's just 19. Youngest Soviet player is Alexandrov, who is 20.
Face off outside the Soviets' line. Now shot. Over to Robinson, working down on the right side against Alexandrov. Luchenko in behind the net, watched by Peter Mahovlich. Good stick handling by Luchenko. He fired it for Alexandrov. And Alexandrov couldn't pick it up. Soviets are not having the success completing their passes tonight against the Canadiens in the same manner as was the case against New York. There's a little flare up in the corner between Ori and Alexandrov.
Alexandrov is, as I mentioned, the youngest member on the Soviet team. He scored a goal the other night against the Rangers. He's a vigorous type player, and he was selected as the outstanding junior in the tournament last year in Winnipeg. One of his Canadian opponents in that tournament was Doug Jarvis, who's out here tonight for Montreal. And there's the action that results in this face-off in the Canadian zone.
On the face-off, Ori in behind the net. Vikulov, number 18, and Alexandrov, 11, watching the Canadians closely. Montreal shooting it out. Luchenko hands it off. Now it's in over the line. Vikulov leaving it for Alexandrov. He spun around, and Cournoyer is going to get a penalty for hooking.
So, Danny, a chance for the Soviets as the period draws to a close.
And it'll be Petrov, Mikhailov, Harlamov, Gusev, and Vasilyev. Canadians clearing it down the ice, and they are defending with Jarvis and Gainey up front with Savard on defense with Lapointe. Now the Soviets. Harlamov grabbed it at center, darting in on that left side. He dropped it back. Gusev slapping it into the corner for Harlamov, but Savard is there, plays it to Jarvis. And Jarvis starts out against Petrov. They fight for possession on the boards. Savard comes up with it. He hits the Soviet line, takes the shot. It's a weak one off Gusev's stick. Now Gainey trying to keep it in there. Mikhailov from the corner, turning with Harlamov and Petrov. Gusev moves up in the play, and he's stopped by Jarvis. Here's Jarvis down with Gainey. Jarvis decides to kill off valuable seconds on that penalty. From center, he knifed it back into the Soviet zone. A minute left in the penalty to Cournoyer. Now Lemaire doing the forechecking. Vasilyev. He's stopped by Lemaire. And Lemaire cleared it out to center. Petrov is bumped by Roberts. Harlamov is stopped by Lemaire. And the Canadians doing a magnificent job of killing off this penalty to Cournoyer. Now Gusev sends it ahead. Petrov at center. Alexandra is up in the play. Alexandrov getting it back. Vasilyev takes a shot, and it goes off Lemaire into the center ice area. Mikhailov to Alexandrov on the right side. He starts in on the wing, and it's offside with Gusev in there over the line.
16 seconds remaining in the penalty to Cournoyer. And the Canadians have had a good shift right here of penalty killing from both Doug Jarvis, who then left the ice and was replaced by Jacques Lemaire. And if you watch the Montreal Canadiens very much, you don't see this too often, Jacques Lemaire sprawling to block a shot. But he certainly did there, and they are doing a lot of things here tonight. I guess they might not normally do, because as Danny has pointed out, the Canadians are very much fired up.
Mahovlich this time shoots it down the ice. We have exactly 8 seconds left in the penalty to Cournoyer. Vikulov, 18, is turning. Alexandrov, number 11, has it. He feeds it ahead. The penalty has expired. The puck into the Canadian zone. And it is icing called against the Soviets. 2-0, Montreal leading the Soviets.
It was a second power play opportunity for the Soviet team. Vladimir Vikulov and his teammates, and they had not got a shot on goal in either one of their opportunities. This fellow's been on and off with the national team, Vikulov. He scored twice against the Rangers on Sunday. There's the clock situation. 1:22 left. Canadians lead by 2.
And the face-off, Cournoyer to Don Ori. Here is Robinson winding up. The shot is right on, but Tretiak had it taped all the way. Here's Don Ori taking a shot. Mahovlich fired it, and he was wide. Cournoyer along the boards. He's jostling there with Luchenko. Now it's back to the line. Don Orey keeping it in. Sagankov and Cournoyer fight for it. Cournoyer has it. Shlupkov along the boards gives it to Vikulov. He fires the puck back to Luchenko. Now Vikulov was stopped. Sagankov working from the corner. Shlupkov feeds it to Vikulov, cutting in on that right side, rammed in on the boards by Don Orey. Mahavlich played it to the corner. Alexandrov fell in the corner. Wilson missed the pass at center. Luchenko rolled it ahead. It was almost blocked by Lafleur. Let's see an interference penalty coming up here against Shlupkov, is it? There's somebody over in that area. And let's see, the penalty will be assessed finally. And someone will go over there. Did you get that, Dick?
I think it is number 22, Shlupkov. He hasn't been told yet that in the National League, I guess you've got to go directly to the box these days. He went over to the players' bench. Now he has returned. There it is at the top of your screen. Interfering with the Canadian player, Bob Gainey. So with 15 seconds left in the first period, the Soviets draw a penalty.
Lemaire, Lafleur, Schott, Lapointe, and Savard. That's the power play alignment for Canadians. With just a dozen seconds left, they go with two defensemen. Here's Lafleur. Lafleur working the corner. He'll have to pass quickly. There's a shot by Schott. And it went off a stick over the glass in that corner area to the right of Tretiak. 3 seconds left.
That was almost a pretty good play. Schott worked hard to get in position with Lafleur with the puck watching. Time for a face-off and maybe one shot.
With 2 seconds left, a few years ago, Mahavlich scored from the face-off, the only goal of the game against Toronto. Doesn't happen very often. Lemaire gets the shot, but it's wide, and that's going to be the end of the period, with Montreal leading the Soviets 2-0. Now the second period. About to get underway, and the penalty killers for the Soviets will be Petrov, number 16, Mikhailov, number 7. And the front three for Montreal, Lambert on the left side, Lemaire at center, Lafleur on the right wing, Savard and Lapointe on the point. Gusev and Vasiliev are on the blue line for the Soviets. Now Lapointe hits the Soviets line, working into the corner, putting on the brakes, trying to get it back to Lambert. It's loose in there for a fraction of a second. Vasiliev and Lapointe fight for it. Lafleur is chasing it to the far side. Savard drops back to the point, back into the corner to Lemaire. Lemaire for Lafleur. Petrov is after him. Lafleur falls. Now behind the net, Vasiliev. He gets an opening, clears it out. Mikhailov over to Petrov. Lemaire wheeling back for Montreal. Lemaire over the line. His shot is blocked by Vasiliev. Gusev has it with 55 seconds left in the penalty to Shlupkov. Canadians back into their own zone. 2-0 Montreal, leading on goals by Schott and Lambert. Here's Savard. 4-man attack for Montreal, and it's offside with Lambert going in too quickly on the left wing.
Well, there is number 6, Gennady Chikinkov, 28 years of age. This is his 6th year with the Central Red Army team, and of course this is the team that supplies the majority of the players to the Soviet National Club. 10 of them in uniform tonight were up against Harry and John's Team Canada 72 team.
Solidukin, number 15, Vikulov, 18, on for the Soviets. Here's Schott winding up, and a cannonading shot right on. Back to Van Boxmeer. He's got a hard one. There's the point taking his shot. 3 big saves there from the firepower of the Canadians. And that Van Boxmeer has come up with a tremendous shot, and he's very accurate. Here is Van Boxmeer coming down ahead to Cournoyer, bursting in on the right side, feeds it in front, and Schott was covered by Sagankov. Here's Mahavlich getting ready from the net. He pokes away at it. Tretiak is down. It's loose in front. Shot getting it back to the point. Schlutkov is back on. Gets it over to Vikulov. Vikulov over the line, takes the shot. The point blocked it. Shot goes to the ice along with Vikulov.
A real smart play by Peter. Both Shutt and Cornway are tied up in front. Now here he comes and tries to go back on him. And he just lost control of the puck for an instant because he had Tretiak beaten.
Oh, you remember the goal he scored in Game 2 in Toronto?
That was a real classic.
Solidukin getting it back. It's at the line. Volchenkov lost it to Risebrow, and then Tremblay rolled it into the Soviet zone. Kuzkin, it's off Lambert's stick. Volchenkov losing it. Here's Tremblay getting set. He centered it right in front. Lambert was covered by Solidukin. Now the Soviets. Popov chasing it to the side. He's bodied by Lambert. Risebrow coming in on the left side. He centered it. Solidukin clearing it on the right side. It's Maltsev hitting the Montreal line, gathering speed. Maltsev around the net from the corner. Maltsev jammed into the boards by Bouchard, who falls. Maltsev doing great work for the Soviets. He's pulled over finally by Risebrow. Great work there by number 8, Maltsev. Now Savard on the right side. Solidukin after him. Popov goes after Tremblay. Volchenkov working to the line, losing it to Lambert. Players go sprawling all over the ice at the Canadiens line. Lambert is shooting it in over the line, and the Canadiens make changes while the play goes on. Now the Soviets broken up at center by Wilson. Wilson coming in with Roberts. He shoots it right on. Here's Wilson shooting it. The light went on. He hit the goal post. He hit the goal post. The light went on, but he hit the goal post. The goal judge was a little trigger happy there. Robinson faking the shot. Jarvis shoots it to the short side. Now they jam in on the boards in behind Tretiak, and Dick, I think the light went on, but off quickly.
And the goal judge waved it off immediately.
Well, Murray Wilson got it backhand away quick. Here's a save by Tretiak, and here's Murray coming up off the top post and did not go in the net.
Face off to the right of Tretiak. We are now a dozen seconds away from the 4th minute mark into the second period. Mikhailov takes his shot. They score! Mikhailov fired it. Dryden got a piece of it, and it went in. That was a quick wrist shot, Dick.
And only the first shot they've had on goal in this period. Only about the second time all night, John, that I can recall that they threw one of those long passes up and it worked.
Well, here's Mikhailov getting that quick wrist shot away, and I thought Dryden had a piece of it, and he did.
Yeah.
And it dropped in across the line.
2-1.
Red Army goal scored by number 7, Boris Mikhailov. Assist to number 5, Valery Vasiliev. At 3 minutes and 54 seconds.
3:54. Harlamov coming in, and he's spun around by LeBert. Puck is back at center. Mikhailov getting the goal. Vasiliev the assist. Here's Lemaire coming in over the line. And the Red Army team right back into the thick of things. It's 2-1 for Montreal. Mikhailov a drop pass to Petrov. Back to Mikhailov. Petrov centering it. And it went off Dryden. The point ahead to Lafleur. Gainey is on the left side. Here's Gainey going in. He finally picks it up, works off the boards. Into Lafleur. Lafleur getting set back to Lapointe. He waited too long. He was checked, and Mahovlich couldn't get it in front. Now it's tipped ahead by Harlamov. Mikhailov going in, Dryden out of the net, and Savard comes up with it. Savard's pass hit Petrov's stick. Now then Lafleur. Forechecking is Harlamov for the Soviets. So is Mikhailov. Now Mahovlich with that big reach comes out. He cleared it ahead. And Gusev knocked it back to center. A neat move by Mahovlich. Mahovlich coming up with a Russian maneuver there, putting the puck between his skates. Here's Schlutkov. Schlutkov down at center on the right wing in over the Montreal line. The big fellow tried to center it. of Ori's stick. Cournoyer bumped by Alexandrov. Gusev failed to hold it in. Now Mahavlich chasing it to the far side. Alexandrov turning at the Soviets line, back in over the Canadiens line. Here's Gusev firing it, and it went off Cournoyer. Lambert playing it out over the line. Chasing it to the far side, finally Gusev got it. Hit Alexandrov. 2-1, Montreal leading in the second period. Lambert couldn't hold the pass. Zagankov to Luchenko, and he missed Shrukov. Don Ori ahead for Risebrow. Now Alexandrov missed a pass. The checking so close right here, both teams failing to find the target on the passes. Ori to Lambert ahead to Risebrow. He failed to negotiate contact. Now Nikulov. He's stopped there by Risebrow. Risebrow coming in. Trombley and Lambert moving up. There's Lambert. And that one hit Nikulov. That pass hit Nikulov. He seemed to get it on the side of the face. Now Popov speeds to center in over the Montreal line. It's swept off his stick by Lapointe. Lapointe rolling it ahead into the center ice area. The Red Army team making changes. A dire dearth of whistles here in the second period. Kuzkin dropping it back to Maltsev. He starts in on the right side. It's cleared back to the line. Here's Popov. Giving it off to the side of the net to Solodukin, and he fired it wide. Robinson trying to clear it. And finally Lapointe goes in there to take over for the Canadiens. Ahead to Jarvis. Jarvis down to the line. He's upended. And Solodukin, I think, is going to get the penalty.
There's a good chance here now for Canadiens to get right back and take over the play again.
Lafleur, Shutt, Mahavlich, Lapointe, and Van Boxmeer on the power play for the Canadiens. We'll give you the Soviets defending lineup in just a second. Now then, Mahavlich centered it right in front, and Lafleur slapped it wide from the side of the net.
Oh, what a
That was a beautiful setup.
Great play, Kirk, by Pete.
You know, Dick, in the pregame warm-up, he was stopping all his shots on the low corner of the net with his goal pad. Most goaltenders stop them with their sticks. There was a good example. He got that goal pad across and give it all that more strength behind the stop.
Now Lafleur to Van Boxmeer, to Peter Mahavlich, to Lafleur right in front of the net and shot. He was in there pretty close. He couldn't get it up. And right there to block it, Tretiak.
Canadians throwing the puck around very well, and the Soviets, John, they're standing still a little bit out here in this penalty-killing role, which surprises me. They're making a change now.
Well, they went into a complete two-man defense, two-man offense here, that four-man box. The Canadians penetrated very good there, and they were unfortunate not to score. Lafleur gets it up in the top corner.
Gusev is on defense with Luchenko for the Soviets. Back to Lapointe. There's the shot, and it's blocked. Soviets breaking out. Petrov over the line. And Lapointe and Van Boxmeer got back. Here's Mahavlich with Lafleur. In over the line. Mahavlich near the corner. On the boards. He's upended, and there's a penalty coming up to Gusev. Gusev going off with 1 minute and 15 seconds left in Solodukin's penalty.
Watch the two-hander first. Now takes his feet from underneath them.
Here's Lafleur over to Lapointe, closing in for the shot. Zagankov got it. He starts out over the line. Soviets are 2 players short here. Here's the master, Mikhailov. Gets it back to the line. Luchenko lost it. Now Lafleur. 52 seconds left in Solodukin's penalty. Cournoyer coming in. He centered it. Peter Mahavlich trying to get in front. They fight for possession. Mikhailov comes up with it for the Soviets. Brings it out to center. He falls. Lafleur coming back. Hits the Soviet line. Cutting it on the right side. And it's swept away by Tretiak. Zagankov cleared it down the ice. Dryden ahead to Lapointe. Lapointe up on the left side to Mahavlich. Here's Mahavlich getting set the back pass. Lapointe over to Lafleur, closing in for the shot. Luchenko got in front of it. Here's Cournoyer, 2 Canadians in front, and it bounces off a stick to the corner. Tretiak against Lemaire. Here's Cournoyer to Lafleur. He rips the shot just wide. Puck loose in front of the net. Cournoyer scores!
Last time Ivan scored on Tretiak, John, was the tire in Game 8.
Another wrist shot, Dick, and he really fired it. Got Lafleur's rebound and high on Tretiak. And the papers coming down here in the Forum, Dick.
Tremendous atmosphere.
Here's a shot by Lafleur. Over the top of the glass. Now watch Cournoyer. He's so sharp in front of that net. Here's the wrist shot. Up high. And Tretiak, of course, was down on his knees and no chance at all.
Close-up look at it here. You get a good look here at the wrist shot that Cournoyer takes as he swings around and just lets it go. The goal came just as the penalized player who was off first came on the ice, so that wipes out the other penalty, too.
Assist to number 10.
Well, there was no question that
and number 25,
second penalty was definitely deserved by Gusev. He gave him a two-hander, and then he took his feet from underneath it. And like you said, Dick, he made a reaction toward the referee.
It's the first time in 2 games that they have reacted to a penalty call against them.
Montreal 3, the Red Army 1. Now here's Papa breaking in on the left side over to Maltsev, and he couldn't get a good shot away against Boucher.
I think Savard is getting a penalty for hooking as he followed in on the original puck carrier Popoff on the play. So quickly after the Canadiens make it 3-1, they will be playing a man short as Savard goes to the penalty box.
Canadiens penalty number 18, Serge Savard, 2 minutes for hooking at 9 minutes and 52 seconds.
9 minutes and 52 seconds, the time of the penalty. And the statistics being recorded by the Soviet coaching department.
That's his job. Remember, Terazov used to be back there by himself. He used to change the lines and make the notes at the same time. Now they have Alexandrov as the note taker.
Schluktoff, big center, is out there. He goes to the corner against Robinson, who cleared it on the left side. And it went over the glass.
The New York Rangers are back in action, and they are trailing the Atlanta Flames 2-0 at the end of 1 period of Madison Square Garden. There's a look at Dougie Jarvis winning that faceoff. And in Detroit in the second period, the Red Wings are ahead of Washington 1-0.
Vasiliev is in over the line. Alexandrov is out there too. Here's Gainey coming down with Jarvis off Gainey's stick. Vasiliev to Vikulov. He cuts through center, weaves his way to the Canadiens line, loses it, and it's cleared out by Jarvis. We have Vikulov, Schluktoff, Alexandrov, Sagankov, and Vasiliev. That's the power play for the Soviets. Robinson in behind the net. Robinson gets it and shoots it down the ice, and now we have 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the penalty. Sagankov to Schluktoff. He comes down to the Canadiens line, gives it to Vikulov. Back to Vasiliev. He shoots it right in front of the net. And Ori got in front of it, clearing it ahead for Gainey. Gainey falls. Schluktoff to Alexandrov. He loses it at the line, and Jarvis clears it down. The Soviets have been unable to get on track on the power play tonight. The tenacity of the checking of the Canadiens has been a thing of beauty. Vasiliev cleared it in front, and now it's Lemaire ahead to Robinson in on the left side. Robinson into Soviets territory. Sagankov in on the boards, takes over. He's bumped and knocked to the ice by Lemaire. Vasiliev, rink-wide pass. Mikhailov is on the ice now, and it's cleared over the glass by the Canadiens to Lemaire.
They are 18 seconds short of the completion of this penalty. It's the third penalty the Canadiens have drawn in the game, and so far on Soviet power plays, the Army team has not managed a shot on goal. They have just 1 shot in this period. The Canadiens have outshot them 9-1, but the 1 shot was the goal for the Soviet team that made it a 2-1 hockey game, and then Cournoyer upped it to 3-1. Savard in the box, 18 seconds left.
It is Petrov, 16 at center. Harlamov, who has the puck now, he's on the left wing. Mikhailov, who takes the pass at center, is on the other side. Now he's going through center. Gives it to Gusev. He breaks the stick on it. A weak shot. Harlamov trying to center it. And Dryden is there to get a face-off.
This is an important face-off, Dick, with 1 second left to go, and this is what Canadians have really taken over the Soviets, has been the face-offs tonight, and also the Rangers did too. And this could be a weak part of the Soviet game, is the center ice face-offs.
In the first period, there were 20 face-offs. The Canadians won 14. They didn't win that one.
Now it's back to Vasiliev. He tried to set up Harlamov in front. He missed it. The penalty has expired. And Roberts comes down to the line, broken up by Gusev. Petrov working his way to the Canadiens' line. Mikhailov, a weak shot. Harlamov is covered on the far wing, and it is Savard for Montreal, just dumping it in over the line. And they do that when they want to make changes. And that's what Montreal is doing. Here's Lafleur stealing the puck. Lafleur is in the Soviet zone. Nifty work along the boards by Lafleur. Now he tries to center it. And it's picked up by Gusev. Mikhailov dashes down through center ice. In over the line with Petrov. Broken up by Wilson. Jarvis rolls it over the line. Harlamov on the right side. Here's Petrov back to Harlamov. Mikhailov takes a shot. Harlamov around the net. He centered it in front of Vasiliev. A shot. And a big save by Dryden. And it's cleared by Lafleur. The Soviets buzzing around, and finally Wilson shoots it down the ice, and that's going to be icing.
Game 3 of Super Series 76 is coming to you from the Forum in Montreal.
Face off to the left of Dryden. Solidukin played it back. Shutt has it. Headmans it, but it's intercepted by Kuzkin. Over to Popov. In over the Canadian zone, getting into the slot position. And his shot went off Savard's stick. Cournoyer fired it to an open right wing. Volchenkov, number 13, he's on defense now, along with Kuzkin. There's Maltsev. Some feel to think he's perhaps the most dangerous of all the Soviet players, number 8. But that time they couldn't get anywhere. Here's Cournoyer shooting it, and he just grazed the goal post. That was diligent work by Cournoyer that made that shot possible. He's at it again. Now the Soviets start out. Solidukin comes to center, to the line, works in on the left side. Here's Solidukin around the net, centered it right in front. And it was gobbled up by Mahavlich. Mahavlich works his way, weaving down to the Soviet line. Now he puts on the brakes. Mahavlich still with it. Pass went off a leg. Solidukin laying it around the net. Here's Cournoyer getting in front, took the shot. And Tretiak was ready for him. Volchenkov clearing it out. Maltsev turning at the Soviet line. In over the Canadian blue line, the shot. Dryden making the save on the short side. Canadians are leading here 3-1, and we have just over 5 minutes left in the second period. Luchenko laying it back to Kuzkin. He fanned on an attempted pass. Shlukov is on the ice. Now Tremblay comes in. He's bumped by Luchenko. Kuzkin got away from Risebrow. Canadians making changes. Alexandrov on the right side. Left the puck, went the other way. Don Ory was trying to set him up. He didn't want it. Now Robinson is in over the line. Lambert couldn't get it. Vikulov coming down over the line. Shlukov is in there too. Now along the boards. Lambert gives it to Robinson, ahead to Tremblay. Tremblay at the Red Army line, fakes the shot around the net, trying to center it. He carries on to the corner, bumping there along the boards gently with Luchenko. Tonight the Red Army team has not had many 2-on-1 breaks. Goalies generally say to the defensemen, in the words of the old song of a few years ago, it's you and me against the world, when the Soviets break in 2-on-1. There's Don Ory with a shot, but they have been tied up tonight. That shot ended up on the mesh.
Ferg Ori has a little bit to prove, I think. He did not have a very happy experience with Team Canada 72. He only played in 2 games. Not to look at Doug Jarvis winning the faceoff. But you have to figure that Ori's been outstanding so far this evening.
He certainly has. He's really taken the man right out of the play. He hasn't played the puck, just played the man. You don't have to knock him through the boards, just take them out. And that's what he's been doing. And, of course, in 1972, in that first game, Harloff made that great move on Downey and kind of changed the whole game at that time.
Young Jarvis, we've looked at a couple of slow motions of him on the face-offs, and he's done quite a job tonight.
Face-off outside the Red Army line. LaPointe to Savard. Savard chops a shot into the corner. Gusev with Lemaire after him. It hit Wilson. Gusev barges along the boards. Where is it, they say, and it's back on the stick of Gusev. He gives it to Petrov. Petrov forced back into his own zone. Here's Gusev. Canadians doing forechecking of a tremendous magnitude right here. They have the 3 forwards up and their defense up near the line. Now they fall back. Petrov is starting out. Petrov is coming down to the Canadiens line. He's in over the line. Harlamov going in, he scores! Beautiful setup. And Harlamov with that backhand shot gets a beautifully executed goal by the Soviets, and again it's on the table, Dick. A 3-2 Montreal.
He makes the big play, John, and he makes it again.
Yeah, here's Petrov now. He's a great stick handler. Number 16. Now watch him slide this puck through to Harlamov. And goes right in between Lemaire and Guy Lapointe, and the backhands are right into the far corner. This is a super goal again. It's like the one he got in New York the other night.
One of the few times the Canadiens' defense has sort of moved over and been a little too close together. They were both on that one side. 7 shots for the Soviets, 2 goals, 3-2 Montreal.
Red Army goal scored by number 17, Valery Kharlamov. Assist number 16, Vladimir Petrov. And number 7, Boris Mikhailov. At 16 minutes, 21 seconds.
Here's Mikhailov coming back in over on this side. Gusev a screen shot. And it went high off the glass. That goal, Harlamov. Bring it up to date later as Gainey races in there. Back to the point it comes, kept in by Savard. Here's Lafleur trying to center it. Gusev got in front of it. Petrov out to Harlamov. Over on the other side. Mikhailov has dropped to Petrov. He centered it. And Lapointe was there. He sends Lafleur through center, fading to the right side. Lafleur being watched by Gusev. It's centered. And it's cleared now through the crease inadvertently by the Soviets. Vasiliev ahead to Petrov. Robinson breaks over. He darts in on the left side, puts on the brakes, getting set for a pass maybe. He still has it. Now he gets it out in front of the shot. He fired it. And it went off the stick of Petrov over the glass. And there you see the shots on goal, 21-7. For Montreal, so there's a maximum productivity as far as the Soviet team is concerned. 2 out of 7. You don't do much better than that. And that last one was a beaut. Now Mahovlich getting into Cournoyer, getting ready for the net shot, and a splendid save by Tretiak. And what a play by Cournoyer. Popov over the line, tied up by Don Ori. Peter Mahovlich's pass goes off a leg. It's stopped, brought in by Solodukin. Could be a delayed whistle, but the Canadiens start out. Montreal leading here with less than 2 minutes to go in the second period. It is 3-2. Here's Maltsev running into Robinson, and he stops. Volchenkov lost into Cournoyer. And Cournoyer showing that dedication of speed that made him such a star for so many years in the NHL. Now Popov coming down on the line, trying to barge in there, and he's sandwiched by Mahovlich and Ori. Into the corner. The Soviets center it, and Popov slapped one on that pass from Maltsev, and it was wide. Now Canadians roll it into the center ice area. Solodukin turns, hits the line. He's trying to go through there. Goes to the left wing. Maltsev's pass, stopped by Lemaire. Ahead to Gainey, one rushing back. Now Gainey over the line. Satankov covering. Now Gainey getting set for the shot. He didn't pass it, he shot it, and it was low and wide. Now there are 53 seconds left. Here this the second period out in front. It comes off Lemaire. And Tretiak covers up.
Danny, you're talking about the 7 shots and 2 goals. Only 2 members of the Soviet team have had shots. Mikhailov has had 4, and Harlamov has had 3. They have been the goal scorers. Berg, Conway in close again.
He sure was. Now watch this. The pad of his go right down, and this is what I said earlier. That gets that pad right down on the plate.
Sagankov turning from the corner. He's being watched closely by Lemaire. Feeds it on the other side. Vikulov couldn't get it. And Lapointe to Savard. Just a half minute left now in the second period. As the Soviets go back there. Luchenko clearing it through center. They're playing it rather carefully here in the final half minute of the second period. Now the Soviets start back. Alexandrov is in over the line, trying to set up Vikulov. And it's Lafleur coming out slowly. Half dozen seconds, Lafleur fires it in. And Luchenko has it, and that's going to be the second period with Montreal leading the Soviets 3-2 at the end of 2.
Shots on goal in the second period by the Soviets, 3 for a 2-period total of 7. By the Canadiens, 11 for a 2-period total of 22. Live from the Forum in Montreal, Super Series 76.
Montreal 3, the Soviets 2, upcoming period number 3. In that second period, the Canadiens outshot the Russians 11-3. Cournoyer had 3 shots on goal, and there we get a look at the Soviets filing out of their dressing room just below us over here on the east side.
The Soviets and how they organized there when Petrov started that play to Harlamov. Every time Mikhailov's great shot up in the top corner, but I'm really impressed with Tretiak. And even now, before this period started, he's down doing his exercises and just a great goaltender.
And so 2 hours and 54 minutes away from 1976 in Montreal, we start the third period. 1 goal separating the teams. Gusev chased back by Gainey. Now he turns, starts in the center area. Hooked away by Lemaire to Lafleur. Here's Lafleur sending it to Gainey, and he's fired it just wide. Gainey bursting in on the left side. Petrov cleared it out over the line. Lemaire coming back quickly, upended. Vasiliev is going off. I think it'll be he for tripping one of the defensemen.
Vasiliev draws his second penalty of the game. This one for tripping is the call, as he tried to give Lemaire the hip treatment, but got him with the leg. Canadians scored 1 power play goal tonight. It was Cournoyer's goal with 2 men off in the second period.
Mahovlich, Lafleur, Lambert, Van Boxmeer, and Lapointe on the power play. Lambert has it on the boards around the Soviets' net. Lambert to Lafleur. Here's Lafleur getting set for a pass. Van Boxmeer winds up. He shoots it. And a big leg save. Now there's a shot that hit right in front. And a shot by Lafleur. That went off Tretiak. They jam in on the board. And the face-off in the Soviet zone.
This has got to be a pretty big moment for the Canadians. Chat. And once again, the story right here, Fergus Tretiak.
Lambert got his stick on it, and Tretiak saved it. Now watch this other shot come through. Now watch Lafleur fire one. Super goaltending.
A minute and 36 seconds left in the penalty to Vasiliev. Scotty Bowman making a change. Savard is on. Lemaire is on. Now Lafleur goes to the corner. Back near the point. Lafleur right in front of Lemaire. He tried to slide it through to Lambert, and it went by Lambert. Back to Savard. There's the shot. Lafleur trying to get a shot cleared by Gusev. Canadians keeping it in. Here's Lafleur winding up for the shot. Lemaire shoots it, and it's blocked by Tretiak. Another shot. Oh, what a save there on Lambert by by Tretiak.
Boy, what else can you say about Tretiak, the goaltender? The Canadiens have just been all over them on this power play. They've had great chances, but they have not scored.
Lemaire had a shot. Lafleur had a shot. Here's Lambert, typical position in front of that net. Now watch the puck go back here. Lambert gets it up. Now watch this save. He was going over him, and he gets his glove hand out.
Canadiens were in the process of making changes with Mahavlich and Cournoyer coming on to take over from Lemaire. And maybe Lafleur. Yes, Lafleur is going off, and so is Lambert. Petrov at center. Gusev in possession, fired it off the boards, not out. Savard working it into the corner. Savard around the net. Here's Savard trying to center it off Gusev's stick, and Luchenko cleared it down the ice. There are now 47 seconds left, and Vasiliev's penalty as the Canadiens organized, led by Lapointe. Ahead to Mahavlich with Cournoyer, shot, and Savard in over the line. Mahavlich fired it to the far side, and he didn't miss by much. Here's Savard keeping it in, the shot. Tretiak had no trouble with that, and he covers up.
Well, another of those individual type moves by Pete Mahavlich, and he let that one go on the stick handle. Top corner was his target, didn't miss by very much. There's the man of the hour right here in this hockey game. The Canadiens have had 4 shots on goal during this power play.
The goal's going to loom very big here, Dick. Canadiens have really played sparkling hockey, especially in a power play.
Gusev behind the net. He flicked it to the far side. Petrov ahead to Luchenko. He's coming down in over the Canadiens line. And he fired it from the sharp angle. Just 13 seconds left in the penalty. And Lapointe gets by Mikhailov. Beats it ahead to Gainey. He steps in over the Soviet line. There's the shot. And that changed direction and went over the top of the net. Lemaire in for Lafleur. The penalty now has been served by Vasiliev. He takes the pass out to center. Vasiliev over to Gusev. He's turning back. It goes to center. Mikhailov has it down on the right wing, trying to barge through there, and he couldn't get by Gainey. Montreal 3, the Soviets 2. Third period. Maltsev tipped it into the center ice area. There's Savard, who has played an indefatigable game for the Canadiens tonight. He's been on the move all the time. Intercepted by Maltsev is Lafleur. Now grabbed off by Wilson, called on the outside.
Perry Wilson started this game off with a semi-breakaway attempt on the Soviet goal, and the pace really has not slackened since then. But territorially, John, it's been all Montreal.
Oh, they just played wonderful hockey tonight. They checked their wingers. There's been a lot of play right at center ice, but they've had some excellent shots. And the young players for Canadiens tonight have really come through for them. And, of course, Big Peter's played a super game, and he's been unlucky so far.
The score's only 3-2.
Koloduchin cleared it, and then Risebrough fired it into the corner. Soviet starting out. Volchenkov cleared it to center. John Ory waits, and he ripped his shot back in there. Koloduchin. He fell. Tremblay missed it. Popov knocked it out. Robinson starts back. Canadian strategy here. They're clearing it in. A shot by Robinson from the sharp angle. Now Robinson gets it in ahead to Lambert on the backhand. He shoots it, and it's blocked on the short side by Tretiak. Face off to the left of Tretiak. Jarvis against Schluchthoff. Robinson tipped it in. Luchenko from the corner failed to clear, and Roberts whipped a shot into Tretiak. Now Wilson shoots it, and it's blocked. Sagankov coming out. Ahead to Schluchthoff. Schluchthoff over the line. There's the pass. Alexandrov. He scores! Alexandrov. And it is tied at 3.
Fergie, these fellas are just amazing. That was a 2-on-1 break with Don Ory trapped on the play. You just don't give them a chance.
Oh, you certainly can. What's Schluchthoff, number 22? 6'3", 190 pounds, 21 years of age. Watch him. And over to Boris Alexandrov, their two youngest players, and it gets by Dryden.
Once again, Dryden gets a piece of it. Now here's Ari getting turned around at center ice. The 2-on-1 break with Robinson electing to drop to the ice in a sliding type defensive move. He did not make it. And the puck gets in behind Dryden. We've got a tie hockey game.
Red Army goal scored by number 11, Boris Alexandrov. Assist to number 22, Victor Shlukov.
Now here's a close-up look at it now in the net. Alexandrov, who got a goal against the Rangers, gets this one. Again, you see Dryden stopping the puck, but not stopping it totally, and it's over the line.
Dick, that's a young fellow we saw last year when the juniors came over, the Soviet juniors, and he was outstanding in Winnipeg.
Sagankov and Shlukov assisting on the goal by Alexandrov to tie it at 3. Now the Soviets come back, spinning around. Savard clearing it to Lafleur. He's checked. Savard gives it to Lapointe. Back to center, off the leg. Mikhailov in over the Canadiens line. The pass, it's Gainey going after it along the board. Now Canadiens. Gainey with Lemaire. Lafleur on the far side. Lafleur and his pass went off the leg of Gusev. Petrov to Harlamov in over the line, and it is called offside against the Soviets. Lapointe clearing it ahead. It's loose. Harlamov's pass stopped by Lemaire. It's recovered by Petrov. Petrov. It's stopped by Lemaire again. Gusev. Now it's cleared out by Mikhailov. Again, they're checking very, very closely. Lapointe rolled it in over the line. Harlamov trying to get away in the center ice area. Gainey watches him. Vasiliev in over the Canadiens line, around the net, centered it, and Lapointe takes over. Lapointe chasing it to the left side. Score is tied at 3 goals. Here's Harlamov. Harlamov getting in front, and he fired it, and it went off Savard wide. Lafleur had to go off his stick. He was checked. Down the ice it goes, and it is icing against Montreal. As we get a confined look at the Soviets bench, the face-off. To the right of Dryden, Popov's shot was weak and wide. Now Mahovlich picks it up at center in over the Soviet line. Here's Mahovlich trying to fire it in front. Volchenkov in there against Mahovlich. Kuzkin takes over. Out it goes off Robinson's stick from center. And that's Don Ory back there with Malsev watching him. Cournoyer couldn't corral it on the right side. Volchenkov back into his own zone, icing against the Canadiens. And that does not sit well with this partisan Canadiens crowd.
Yeah, a bit of a dubious call by Karindin. Maybe a confusion on the rules. And the reaction of the fans. In our hockey, of course, if a player has felt that he can play the puck, the icing is waved off. But it stands here, and we'll have the face-off in the Canadian zone. Soviet team, a lot of youngsters on it. Their ages 22, 23. The majority of them are certainly under 25 years of age.
Volchenkov and Kuzkin, the defensemen, are in over the Canadiens line. Montreal can't get out the first time. Now Mahovlich out to shot. Shot coming in on that left side, trying to barge in there. Volchenkov takes over. He feeds it ahead to center. Popov with Malsev. They're in over the line. And Popov ripped that shot off the falling Bouchard. Kuzkin over on the other side to Malsev. And the pass comes away to the right side, back into the center ice area. Now there are exactly 13 minutes left in this hockey game. Canadiens led 3-1 at one stage, but it is now tied at 3. There's the fellow who scored the tying goal, Alexandrov. Gets it ahead to Vikulov. Gutkov took the shot. Dryden cleared it. Some of the crowd getting on Dryden. Now Cournoyer dashes down on the right wing, fires a shot, and it's gloved by Tretiak.
John, of late, Tretiak's been smothering the puck quite a bit. Whenever it's been in his area, he seems willing to stop the play.
Well, when he has any time at all, he gloves that puck and just controls it and waits for a face-off.
Van Boxmeer and Lapointe, they are out of your picture. They are on the points. Schliptop against Risebrow on the draw. Alexandrov is a bit fractious. Now it's back to Lapointe. There's the shot. Blocked by Tretiak. Lambert waited too long. Sagankov poked it away and then played it along the boards. He has difficulty getting out the first time, and he rolled it to center. Lapointe ahead to Lambert. He cleared it in. Risebrow with it. Here's Risebrow on the boards. Risebrow working off the board. Still has it centered and in front. Sagankov sends Alexandrov away. Schliptop has to go off his stick. He and Lapointe go to the corner. Now they fight along the boards. Risebrow and Alexandrov started to shove each other, rather meaningful. Sagankov in his own zone. Yushchenko cleared it to center. Now Canadiens, Lambert finally gets it. In over the line, centering it in front. Tretiak got a stick on it. Now Risebrow backhanded it against the stick and it goes over the net. Alexandrov, a pass taken by Vikulov. Vikulov over the line, trying to get by Lapointe, and he couldn't. Here's Tremblay. Down with Jarvis and Lambert. To Jarvis, over to Lambert. And the pass was just behind Lambert. He was ready to move in unmolested on the left side.
With 11:13 remaining in the third period, the score, the Canadiens 3, the Soviet Red Army 3.
Now Savard ripped a high one from center. Vasiliak laying it out to the line. Mikhailov deflected it down the ice. This could be icing against the Soviets. 10:57 remain in the third period. Soviets for 3. Montreal Canadiens for 3.
This game marks the halfway point for the Army team in their trip. They will play the Boston Bruins next Thursday night, and the Philadelphia Flyers in the final game of the series a week from Sunday on the 11th.
Now Lapointe has it. He's posing in for the shot. That was a screen shot, low and wide. Armalov shoots it down the ice again. The Army team called for icing.
Well, the New York Rangers continue to struggle. They are now trailing Atlanta 5-0 in the third period in New York. The Penguins lead the Los Angeles Kings 5-1 in the third period in Pittsburgh. And it's 2-0 for Detroit over Washington in the third period in Detroit.
And that Atlanta Rangers game could go a long way toward determining the Rangers' playoff possibilities. They'll be behind 8 points if they lose. Now Petrov. Petrov in over the line. Weak shot goes off Lapointe. Savard ahead to Lemaire. With Lafleur, Savard, and Gainey. They shoot it in there behind the net. Lafleur right out in front. And it was called. And the crowd again did not like that.
That's a mistake by the Soviet official, and they are recognizing that fact by dropping the puck right at center ice.
Solidukin at center against Jarvis. There's Jimmy Roberts trying to get possession. Now Robinson feeds it in over the Soviets line. Solidukin against Jarvis. Volchenkov pinned in on the boards by Roberts. And they'll face off to the left of Tretiak.
Well, the Canadiens have had so many scoring chances, John. Do you think things with 10 minutes to go and the score tied might tighten up a little bit here now?
Well, they have to adapt to a defensive style to be sure, but they've played so very good, they deserve to win.
Popov rolls it to center. Robinson gets it in over the line. Jarvis tipped it. And it's Kuzkin for the Soviets. He feeds it through center. That's going to be icing. And the Soviets have been called with the third degree of regularity for icing in this third period.
Shots on goal are now 30-10 in favor of Montreal.
Well, Canadians are in a position here where they could win a face-off and get a good shot away. If you dump that puck down the ice like that, Canadians got some great face-off men, and they've scored a lot of goals right off the face-off, Dick.
The other night, the Soviets had great success with those long passes in New York. Tonight, I believe they've clicked on only 2 of them, but on one of them, the second one, it led to the Harlamov goal. So they don't waste their opportunities. They certainly have not tonight.
Canadians, everybody up on the draw. Petrov got it to Gusev. He cleared it ahead. Finally, it's knocked out by Petrov. Ahead to Harlamov. He's cutting in on that left wing. Upended by good back-checking by Lafleur. Gusev to Petrov. Here's Petrov winding up for the shot, and he rattled it off Savard's leg. Now then Savard working from the corner. Swinging away from Mikhailov. Savard down on the left side. He shoots it in. It changed direction. Gusev with Lafleur after him. Now Gainey going in to help out. Gusev holds on, starts out, gets it out over the line. Gusev looks back at Lafleur, who's checking. Boy, was Lemaire ever belted, and did he go down heavily just outside the Soviet line. Now puck to Gainey, and he couldn't get a shot away. It was cleared in time by Gusev. Lafleur is upended by Gusev. Here's Harlamov coming down on the left side, and he couldn't get by Robinson. Robinson and Harlamov fight for it. Petrov bringing it in offside. And there you see the statistical story. 8:35 left, third period. Each team with 3 goals. Robinson being watched by Alexandrov. Vikulov is up there too. Sagankov takes it off the boards, loses it to Shutt. Shutt failed to clear it out. Schluchtov, he lost it to Shutt. Over for Cournoyer. Here's Cournoyer. Dashing in, he shoots it. And Tretiak was right there in the line of fire. The Hobleys jammed his man Vikulov out of the play. Schluchtov bringing it in over the line. He's forced back out with 8 minutes left. Schluchtov playing it back to the line. Luchenko. Here's Schluchtov being watched by Mahavlich. Vikulov played it back in. Cournoyer almost got it. Sagankov has to turn from the corner to get away from Cournoyer. Shutt picks it up after Cournoyer stopped it, and it's knocked off Shutt's stick. Schluchtov ahead to Alexandrov. Vikulov on the other side. Alexandrov loses his balance behind the net, and Mahavlich jumps from the corner. Here's Mahavlich down to center, coming down on the line, still with it, working it to the corner. Cournoyer over to Shutt. He couldn't pick it up cleanly. Sagankov down on the right wing, in over the Canadiens' line. Mahavlich picks up a loose puck at center. Here's Mahavlich on the backhand. He turns, getting set for a pass. Gila Point closing in for the shot. And Tretiak had trouble with that one. But as usual, as he has done most of the night, he held it up.
Trouble indeed, Danny. That one seemed to hit the stick, but he did not have control of it, John.
No, he certainly didn't, Dick. And Peter Mahavlich made a great play to LaPointe. LaPointe really fired this one. And here's the shot. He didn't have control of it at all. But he protects that rebound.
Now LaPointe shooting it again. That was a hard one, and he has a quick hand, John.
Oh, he certainly has, Dan. He's been super tonight for the Soviet Union, and he's been a deciding factor as far as I'm concerned.
The crowd urging the Canadiens on as time becomes a factor. Now Popov in over the line. Solidukin follows in against Tremblay. Tremblay hit Risebrow with Lambert. Lambert chasing it to the left side, and Kuskin gets it out. Now Tremblay waiting for Lambert to get onside. Volchenkov on the left wing. Tremblay was going after his man instead of the puck. He had a chance to pick it up. Now Lambert rolled it out over the line. Canadiens leave it there. Solidukin coming back in. Stick handling, shoots it along the ice. Now the Russians in there. Here's Popov getting set, and a great defensive play by Van Boxfield on that pass. Lambert down in on the left side. Lambert follows in, passed it down on his knees, and the Soviets start back. Maltsev ahead to Popov. Maybe a drop pass, not coming right into stainless speed. The light doesn't go on, it hits the goal post. That looked as if it had gone in, but it hit the goal post.
Well, it's 1-1 in goal post. Wilson in the second period, and that one on a super play by Popov. Dryden was beaten cleanly, John, but the post came to the Canadiens' rescue.
He got a lucky bounce here, Popov, and got by Savard. Now watch him golf this one right off the goal post. Murray Wilson earlier and Popov right now, and that ties it up in goal post.
5:49 remaining. 3-3 the score. Now we're going to get another look at it. Watch the goal post to Dryden's left. There it is.
Soviets, everybody up on the face-off. Vasiliev winds up for a shot. Stopped by Ori. Picked up by Lemaire with Lafleur and Gainey. Gainey at the line. Poke check by Vasiliev. Now then Robinson. Lemaire couldn't hold it. Petrov swings back to his own line, watched by Gainey. Vasiliev. Mikhailov. Back into the corner for Gusev. Gusev turning. Now it's intercepted by Gainey. Gainey going in, he shoots, and a big save by Tretiak. Great opportunity for the Canadiens there as they picked up that errant pass. Now Hermelov couldn't get Mikhailov's pass. Well, both teams had gilt-edged opportunities to get the go-ahead goal. Now in over the line, Lafleur with Lemaire. Lemaire shooting it. Scooped away by Tretiak. Petrov picks up the puck again, in over the line. Lemaire starting out over the line. Ahead for Lafleur. It was too far. Lafleur around the net. They thought they were going to have a whistle there for the offside, but Lafleur has it, gives it to Peter Mahovlich over in front of the net. He turned on it. He was all alone in front of the net. Shot.
John, I can't recall a recent game in the NHL when the Canadiens have had so many scoring chances. That's the one by Gainey. You know, Harry said the other night many times, if you're going to catch this team, it's going to be inside their own blue line.
Well, they have been sloppy.
Now LaPointe keeps it in, takes the shot right on. That was screened, and Tretiak is incredible.
Shots on goal to this point in the game, 36-11. I can tell you there's 19,000 people collectively holding their breath every time the Soviets get inside the Canadiens' blue line.
They got the old Habs go Habs chant going now. That'll inspire them.
Well, there are 4 minutes and 16 seconds left in the game. And I didn't get that statistic from Ron Andrews. It's up here on the clock. Canadiens, Cournoyer chasing it. Back in for Shutt. Here's Shutt trying to center it. Gankov cleared it to the line. Savard pumped it back in. Cournoyer centering it. It goes high into the air. Shlukov playing it to Sagankov. Up to Alexandrov. Alexandrov. Vikulov in over the line. Shlukov loses it. Canadiens. Shot got clear of it without looking, and it went to a Soviet player. They could have had a 3-on-2 break there. Now, at the Canadiens line. Cournoyer lost it. Here's Savard head-manning the puck to Wilson. Broken up and cleared by Luchenko out over the line. And Vikulov rolled it ahead. And it's LaPointe in his own zone. Vikulov watching him. Wilson fired it to an open wing. Now Alexandrov turning at his own line. These players have got to be mighty tired at this stage in the game. Puck is in the Canadian zone. Alexandrov doing the forechecking against Savard. Now Jim Roberts comes on, clears it on the left side, and Kuzkin knocked it back to center. 2 minutes and 56 seconds left. Solodukin has it, he fires at the rebound, cleared by Savard. And it's LaPointe in behind the net. Now the Soviets are doing the forechecking. They have their defense way up. They start to fall back as Roberts takes it. Gives it to Wilson. Wilson in over the Soviet line. Wilson on the board, played it back. And it goes down to the Canadiens line. Jarvis couldn't get possession. Don Orey to Robinson on the left side. Canadiens have been missing with that pass quite often when a fellow teammate is steaming in on either wing.
2:15 remaining as time becomes the biggest factor right here. Well, this has been quite a hockey game, everything that everybody thought it would be, and Sunday afternoon it should be another dandy. The Buffalo Sabres, Gilbert Perreault, Richard Martin, meeting Yakushev and the Soviet Wings on the air, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, Sunday afternoon.
Now Robinson almost lost it. Here's Lemaire coming in with Gainey. Gainey back to Lemaire. Lemaire back to Gainey. It hopped over his stick. Gainey trying to center it against Gusev. Here's Lemaire with it. Lemaire's pass gobbled up. Mikhailov has it. He's out there with a Harmelov and Petrov. That is a big line for the Soviets. Mikhailov cleared it ahead. Robinson knocked it back. Harmelov to Vasiliev. Score tied at 3. 1 minute and 40 seconds left. Vasiliev up on the right side. Harlamov, he has a goal tonight coming in on the right side. Petrov picked it up, dropped it back. Vasiliev taking a shot. It goes off a player high, and that was called on the offside.
1:27 left to play. 3-3 the score. John, I think the nicest thing about all of this, no matter what might happen in this last minute and 27, this game has lived up to its advanced billing right to the hilt, and I think it's a tribute to both hockey clubs.
Well, it certainly has, Dick, and it's just been great hockey by both teams. Good stick handling by both teams. Good goalkeeping by Tretiak. Just been super.
Mikhailov chops it in over the line. He took a high stick unintentionally. However, he is not suffering, and he's staying out there. 1:22 left. It's Lemaire, Lafleur, and Gainey. The forward line for the Canadiens. No change for the Soviets. Harlamov, Petrov, Mikhailov. Now Savard is in over the Soviet line. Savard goes to the corner, trying to center it. Here's Gainey with it. Gainey has it. He centered it right in front. Here's Lemaire shooting it. And a tremendous save. Another save by Tretiak. Scintillating save by Tretiak. Here's Harlamov coming in over the line. Harlamov centered it and is swept away by Savard, who ignited that Canadian rally. Mikhailov shoots it. Dryden looked behind him, and it's cleared away by Lafleur. Dryden looked behind him on that. Now there are 34 seconds left. Harlamov goes to center. Mikhailov has it, going in on the right side. And his pass is picked up by Jarvis. Here's Jarvis ahead to Lapointe. Soviets take over. Harlamov in on the right side, dropping it back. Petrov is getting set. He shoots it, and it went to the side of the net. There are now 12 seconds left. Wilson cleared it out. Sogankov over to Gusev. Jarvis has it outside his line. It looks like it's going to end at 3. 1 second left. The game is over, and the Soviets and the Canadiens tie at 3.
Well, John, it's just amazing. The final score is 3-3. The shots on goal, 16-6 in favor of the Canadiens in the final period. 38-13 overall. I don't think we're being anything but fair to say that the Soviets were completely outplayed tonight. But we've just seen one of the greatest displays of goaltending that you could ever see.
Just tremendous. I watched him yesterday in practice, worked so very hard, even in the pregame warm-up tonight. And he has all the moves and watches a puck. Very seldom lets a rebound go out. Just a great hockey game, and we couldn't ask for anything better.
Quand l'armée rouge soviétique visita Montréal en 1975, ce fut une rencontre fracassante entre géants du hockey. Les deux équipes au sommet mondial se sont alors engagées de plein fouet dans la suite de la série du siècle et le résultat fut un match légendaire. Montréal allait remporter la première de 4 Coupes Stanley consécutives plus tard cette saison-là, mais plusieurs s'entendent pour dire que le match de la Saint-Sylvestre contre les Russes fut l'un des meilleurs jamais disputés. Et pour se remémorer cette rencontre au sommet entre les deux nations, voici le membre de l'équipe canadienne lors de la série du siècle en 1972 et le capitaine du tricolore lors de ce match d'anthologie. Je vous présente, et vous le connaissez bien, Yvan Cournoyer. Salut Yvan.
Bonjour Richard.
Alors Yvan, tout de suite, j'imagine que c'est un des grands souvenirs de ta carrière que ce match de la veille du jour de l'an.
C'est un grand souvenir pour moi, mais aussi un grand souvenir pour les spectateurs, parce que la partie était très près de 1972. Et peut-être que les gens se demandaient ce qui aurait se passé ce soir-là, parce que c'était encore un souvenir incroyable de dire qu'on était supposé gagner assez facilement en 72, mais que la partie avait fini 7-3 pour eux autres. Alors, vu que c'était encore une équipe d'étoiles contre juste le Canadien, alors les gens se demandaient peut-être qu'est-ce qui va arriver ce soir-là. Peut-être ça va être la même chose ou peut-être que ça va être différent.
Mais ce qui est arrivé ce soir-là, c'est que vous avez dominé le match, 38 tirs au but contre 13. Et si vous n'avez pas gagné le match, c'est à cause d'une personne, c'est le gardien de but russe, Vladislav Tretiak.
Exactement, Richard. Mais là, je pense qu'on avait une prévision de ce qui était l'équipe. On avait déjà joué contre eux autres, alors on savait le style de jeu, la manière qu'ils jouaient. Et peut-être ça a été plus facile pour notre équipe de les affronter ce soir-là, parce que là, on connaissait qu'il y avait un bon gardien de but, qu'il y avait des bons joueurs d'attaque. Alors, on s'était préparé vraiment mentalement et physiquement.
Vous étiez bien préparé parce qu'il ne faut pas oublier que quelques jours avant, l'équipe de l'Armée rouge avait battu les Rangers. Je ne me souviens pas des pointages exacts, mais je sais qu'ils avaient marqué, je pense que c'était 7-3 contre les Rangers et 7-4 contre Pittsburgh. Donc, ils arrivent la veille du jour de l'an ici. Là, vous avez cette équipe-là devant vous. Mais toi, tu avais un avantage parce que, bon, tu les connaissais, les joueurs russes. Tu connaissais les meilleurs joueurs russes, que ce soit les Yakutchev, Arlamov, Mikhailov, tous ces gens-là, Tretiak. Tu les avais vus, tu les avais affrontés.
Exactement. Et on a parlé beaucoup entre nous, les joueurs, pour se préparer pour cette partie. Mais tout était comme sur un plateau, on dirait, de fête. C'était la veille du jour de l'an. L'année finissait, on a commencé un autre. Alors, on voulait faire plaisir à nos fans, à nos partisans, de dire on ne les laisserait pas tomber, cette partie, elle va être vraiment pour nous. Il fallait absolument gagner cette partie, même comme tu dis, Richard, on a annulé 3-3, mais je pense dans mon corps, à moi, on a gagné la partie.
Écoutez, la première étoile du match, ça allait de soi, Vladislav Tretiak. La deuxième étoile, Yvan Cournoyer, qui a marqué un but. Et la troisième, ça avait été Pete Maravich, qui avait joué un excellent match lui aussi. Vous avez fait non seulement plaisir, mais même, c'était tellement un bon match, Yvan, que même si vous l'aviez perdu, je pense que les gens en auraient quand même gardé un très bon souvenir. Peut-être pas les joueurs, là, mais les gens, les spectateurs.
Je pense que oui, mais pour nous autres, c'était très important, surtout, comme tu dis, ils venaient de gagner contre 2 équipes de la Ligue nationale avant nous. Alors, il fallait prouver aussi qu'on avait une très bonne équipe. Et cette année, on a prouvé qu'on avait une bonne équipe parce qu'on a gagné la Coupe Stanley cette année-là. Alors, ça a été une partie exceptionnelle comme peut-être, je me souviens, que 1972 de cette partie et de plusieurs Coupes Stanley.
Bien, Yvan, 1972, la série du siècle, tu es présent, et non seulement tu es présent, mais tu connais une excellente série. 1975, ce match de la veille du jour de l'an, 10 Coupes Stanley, il faut le mentionner. Est-ce qu'il y a beaucoup de joueurs dans l'histoire de la Ligue nationale qui ont connu autant de bons moments? Moi, je me le demande, je pense pas.
Je sais pas, mais je suis vraiment chanceux et c'est vraiment exceptionnel de dire, des fois, on fait la comparaison en 1972 et la Coupe Stanley, mais d'avoir les deux, comme tu dis, Richard, je pense que c'est incroyable, et surtout cette fameuse partie en 1975 qui a été vraiment une partie, des fois, qu'on parle encore.
Oui. Et tu as gardé quand même contact avec certains de ces joueurs de l'équipe, on va dire soviétique, à ce moment-là, parce que tu as été invité, je pense, à retourner là-bas quelques fois, et tu les as revus, quelques-uns d'entre eux.
Oui, et surtout pour le 30e anniversaire, je ne sais pas pourquoi, mais ils m'ont invité pour aller en Russie. Alors, je les ai demandé pourquoi ils m'avaient invité. J'ai dit peut-être mon nom c'est Ivan. Comme enregistré. J'ai dit peut-être que vous pensez que je n'ai pas joué pour vous en 1972. Alors, c'est peut-être pour ça qu'ils m'avaient invité, mais ça a été vraiment une très bonne expérience de revoir encore toute l'équipe. Et j'avais eu l'occasion de me faire photographier avec toute l'équipe sur la scène. Alors, ça avait été vraiment un voyage exceptionnel encore.
Bien, c'est sûr qu'ils auraient aimé t'avoir dans leur équipe, Yvan. Là-dessus, écoute, félicitations pour toute cette belle carrière, puis merci de ta présence et de ta collaboration.
Merci, Richard.